Current podcast.
Current podcast.
Current podcast. Find us everywhere you listen to podcasts. Now you get to see what it takes to create something for y'all to listen to and watch. I hope y'all appreciate it. Let's get it.
So, unless you've been living under a rock for the last week or so, obviously you know that LA has been suffering through probably, they're saying, one of the most worst historical, what do you want to call it, natural disasters almost? What do you want to call this? Obviously, we know that it's not that because we've seen other stuff, but they're calling it just one of the most catastrophic events in LA in history. That's what we call it. Cool. So, one of the biggest, most catastrophic
call it
events.
a natural disaster. The only thing that was natural about it was that the
wind. Yeah, exactly.
So my opinion on that, before we even go into it deep, is I feel like people took advantage of the conditions that were forecasted, because it's a forecast. So it's.
I was about to say we got warned like 5 days ahead, almost like that.
Warn you ahead of time. So
saw it on IG first.
I have this like weird thought of like displaced individuals. And I what I mean is I have a weird thought of when they come together and how destructive they have been. I don't know if you guys have seen the videos of like them starting little warehouse fires, like in a little like the last one I saw, they had lit up
palm tree.
Well, not only that, but it was like one of those containers, and they were in front like of the container, like dancing around like it was like fun or whatever, and that was, you know, displaced homeless people. Like, you know, the new thing is you can't call them homeless, but that's really what they are. And so my theory is, what if like it was the animosity they feel for people that actually have a home and where you're located at, obviously, because it was all hills areas. Everything was on a hill. They didn't. And then towards the back end of what happened, you started seeing people trying to light palm trees, trying to light an sharp elementary somewhere in the valley got like somebody tried to break in to light it on fire. So I feel like
people looting homes that were burnt down.
Like they even had people with fake firefighter gear on.
Saw that as well. Yep. National Guard is out in Malibu, not allowing anybody to go up or down the
like
mountain.
Manny, what's that verse in the Bible where it's about how like the hearts will grow cold?
Okay, yeah. But it's
I forgot it too.
Yeah, no, but it's
right?
no, like I was trying to remember the
actual verse,
like the actual, yeah. But I know what you're talking about. It's basically like the love inside of the person will end up dying. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that, like, you know, the only way to renew that is to getting close to God. But I feel like for people to start art being like an arson and like start that whole energy is just like wild to me, because I'm like, man, people work their ass off for these homes. It doesn't matter what color they are.
It says in Matthew 24, most because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. I don't know if that's what you're referring to exactly, but
yeah, that is
exactly
what he's referring to. Yeah, that's what he's referring to.
And it's just kind of like vicious to even see like the comments on Instagram, like, oh, just because it was Palisades, Malibu, that they have money to rebuild.
Yes and no. I
feel like there are celebrities that obviously do, but there are also people that got
that was a generational home.
And then the things that suck about generational that people don't speak about is each generation is different. Each generation is going to encounter different obstacles that the past generation didn't. You know what I'm saying? So maintaining whatever you have is pivotal. It's something that you can't just be like, I'm keeping it because it's mine. Like my dad had warned us when I was a kid. We were like 15, 13. I don't know how old you were, probably like 10, 12, bro. But you were like, my dad would be like, man, this is not our house. If we don't pay the property taxes, it's gone. You know what I'm saying? And then like as I grew older, all I started thinking to myself was like, damn, like if they were to pass, God forbid, me and my brother and my sister have to maintain the property taxes so it stays in our family. Because if we don't, you know what I'm saying? Like so it's like a lot of these people now, if you even plan on rebuilding, your property taxes are going up because it's a new structure in a new time, in a new era. We're talking about inflation, that I'm like,
yeah, and then that's where you hope that laws can change, where that if you've been impacted by a certain disaster and like this, that that you can be protected from something like that, because that does suck. Because like, for example, someone like JJ Redick, he was renting a home, so who knows if the person who owns that home is like someone that we're saying that has had that home for generations. They probably live maybe in another state or somewhere away, and they're renting that home out. Yeah, it's up in the hills, but it could have been in that family for a long time. The other things that we've been seeing that you talked about yesterday, but I had seen other just videos about a lot of people from Altadena and that area where they're people like us, where their families came from first generation, bought a home and they lost their home in that fire,
Well, the thing about Altadena is one of the first minority communities where if you're
the wealth there isn't the same.
It's not the same, and that's even like the coverage was alarming to notice how it was like 3 to 4 minutes of the Eden portion of the fire, and like the rest was Palisades.
Most of the coverage has been Palisades.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, damn, like these are people that like these people.
I watched the video this morning where it was. I'm pretty sure you've probably seen it. It was a married couple, and the wife comes into the house and tells her husband, like, "Come outside, look at this. We need a pack." Like, she just says that. They go outside and he films it. Like he did like a whole video of it, like just saying everything that he had lost, and he was just grateful that his wife was on it, because he takes the footage that he had from the Ring camera where she tells him that, goes outside, he sees the fire,
on a power line,
and then like they go inside and they just start packing everything they can from their house into the car to leave before like the fire gets to their house and like it all burns down.
I would have gone out with like, man, that's why I need to get like things like this make you realize how like you need to be prepared in certain things. But man, like imagine being able to just alert your neighbors to like some kind of way where it's like, man, like, hey, let's get out of here, y'all.
This is what was crazy about watching the news constantly, because I had the news on the first 4 or 5 days that this was on. I like once it was like 11 o'clock, it was playing all day, and there was a particular part where the lady, I think it was NBC, and this lady was talking to her neighbors, and she was like, "It's sad that we don't know our neighbors. Like we didn't know them, so we weren't able to, So every community is different, but in that community in Pasadena, they didn't know each other."
So, I mean, I feel like that's a growing trend in 2025, and as the last 10,
in the last
10,
30
you know what I mean?
California has been like that for, I want to say, the past like 10, 15 years, where you don't know your neighbors.
You know why?
No one talks to each other.
A lot of people have moved.
You know why I say it's
after the 08 crash, a lot of your neighbors left. I would have to say.
I feel like it's longer than that, because even when we were kids, my parents have owned that house for as long as my brother's been alive. So we've been able to stay there through the test of time, and then seeing people, like you say, come and go. But I feel like it's on the people that have been there the longest to establish that connection. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like what has happened is we live in a post murder, like mass murder era, where people don't want to get to know nobody because you don't know who you live with.
I don't even think it's that.
I think it's a lot of fear.
I think it's part of the culture of California. The reason I say that is because even in the streets, no one says hi to you. Like, no one says good morning. It's a very rare thing. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, because it does in certain areas that you go to. But in the majority of areas you go to in California, you're not going to encounter a good morning or hello.
I think that's American culture all over the country.
No, bro. Because I've been to other states where that hospitality is there. People don't know you and they talk to you. People don't know you and they just want to get to know you.
But more or less, that's
like that. It's a culture thing of California where it's like that.
But it's because I feel like we got so many people with so many diverse languages, and like, you don't know who you're talking to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might say something like, because what has happened here in this in this area, I can encounter where I'm talking to someone that looks Hispanic, but they're like Middle Eastern or Indian, and then they're looking at me like what, and then they don't speak no lick of English. So it's like bridging that gap is also something that California deals with, like maybe New York does too. But I feel like in New York, people are more bold. In California, it's more
Oh, they will
like,
talk to you regardless in New York.
It's more like
Because remember that I told you that the we talked about this before. We talked about that the culture here in California is very passive aggressive. So it's like people don't like to confront each other as much as they do in other places.
What I have to say in New York is people in New York keep to themselves a lot more than they keep than here. I would have to say, people in New York, like you'll see something happen and like people won't be like, I don't. Like, for example, you'll see, like, someone get robbed or some shit like that. People turn the other way in New York compared to here. You know, people here, like, they'll be like, people here would damn near try to help. You know what I mean? In New York, people will literally turn the other cheek. I was on the train a lot this last time I went. Nobody spoke to me. Not one person ever.
Bro, somebody got lit on fire and nobody better than I.
Exactly. That's a perfect example, bro, of how like
that just to me goes back to that Matthew verse. Like
in New York, people are
dude,
like
nobody took their jacket off to be like wrap that person up and stop the flames. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like I don't know where the humanity in human is at now. You know, like it's non-existent. Like, I mean. I would say LA is showing out for what all these donations going crazy like that.
I do think that there is parts of the country where they are more hospitable and whatnot, for sure. I mean, that's why they call it Southern hospitality for a reason. So correct. I think that's one prime example of it. But besides that, you know, going back to these people, I mean, again, these are people that are. It's over. I heard it's like 10,000 people displaced or something like that, and in total
100,000.
Even crazy, you know what I mean? That plus, I think they have from what I saw this morning, 24 people dead and whatnot. And it's like, it sucks, bro. Like my dad told me that he saw this guy on the news where he's like, he went back inside to get something. When he came out, his dad was like missing. And then after they found him, his dad he got burned alive basically. And the dad was like handicapped and stuff like that. So it's like, people lost loved ones. People have lost everything in this aspect. Where like, you know, all their memories. Like the thing you said about JJ Redick when he was like talking about how like
the sentimental
he lost all the stuff
memories that
he had like as parents and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? And it's crazy how like right now that ironically how that Bad Bunny song came out. It's like it makes you think about that parallel of how like all those memories that you take and all that stuff can be gone like that in a situation like that. You know what I mean?
So it's almost like love now because you never know when.
And for someone that's like rich like JJ Redick, you could say, don't mean he could get that stuff back. He can't get his memories back that he had. Those physical memories he had.
Sentimental.
He talked about that one painting that his son had made. I thought about your son immediately, bro. When he talked about, he's like, I had this ash painting or something that his son had made like the prior year, and they framed it and everything, and how that got like burnt up and everything. So it's like that immediately made me think of you because I know your son is like hard on the art right now. So it's like those little things. I'm like, don't matter if you're rich. Those things are things you can never replace.
They're invaluable.
I mean? Yeah. So it's like people. I feel like people want to say that, are so easy to say that. But in there, they need to also see that whatever they are owners of can be gone just like that. And anything, man. We live in a state where they're constantly telling us the big one's coming, this and that. You know what I mean? Like, so in the grander scheme of things, it's like no one's safe. once we start talking about stuff like of that measure, like no one's safe. But at the same time, seeing these videos of someone starting the fire up in Palisades too, I've seen videos of that. Where there's someone just in the middle of the Palisades, like starting something up. And that's what it seemed like that day. Out of nowhere, like little fire was going on. And then I remember that morning, or if it wasn't that night, I think by that night was on Tuesday, was the fire's already going on that night, right? Yeah. So that night, bro, those winds are pretty crazy here in the valley.
Same thing with Bell Canyon when they tried to lit up over there, like they caught the person.
My car was damaged by a pine cone. In the not damaged like a dent, but it was like scratched, like a nice scratch that I had to get above clay.
Was Eric's Deep Mobile Detailing able to take that scratch out for you?
No, because he's out of town. But hopefully this week he gets to handle that. But it's just
Eric's Mobile Detailing. Yeah, exactly.
It's not a paid ad.
Yeah. But I can get a free wash. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Those are the type of things. Then it got so bad to the point where, I mean, a lot of things got postponed. A lot of people didn't go to work because of certain things, because of either they lost homes or just, you know, LAUSD got shut down here in LA. So schools were out for the last week. I think some of the schools went back today.
Oh, yeah, some of them.
So on Friday, I went to Echo Park to go work out there. Freeways were clear. I got to Echo Park in 20 minutes. Even my sister that lives out there, like by Orange County, she got here in also like 25 minutes, 30 minutes, like, and back home, when like usually takes a lot more. And that just shows you the displaced people right now, that, you know, they're not going to work. They're not living their daily lives. In that aspect, they lost their daily lives. You know what I mean? At the moment.
And all the Hispanic ladies, the cleaning crews that were all for those houses. If you think of them, they lost their jobs
Those
because
jardineros too, all
those
people, bro.
exactly the people that cut their grass, the people that does the pool
You know what's
maintenance,
crazy is
like
that
all that,
simultaneously that happening, right?
like that. It's a trickle effect, basically.
But the trickle effect that was added to the trickling was that ICE was supposedly out here. Like, I hadn't seen no photos, but there was like rumors of them being the photos I saw were in Lancaster and Bakersfield, and then there was rumors that they were out here in the valley, but I never saw photos that, you know. But still, the fact that people had to worry about a fire, worry about, am I gonna work, because some of my best clients are in the hills and are in, you know, and damn, bro, it just sucks, bro.
That's another thing. So that same day, I'm coming back from Echo Park. I'm on the 134, passing the cemetery, and from there you can see the orange glow already. And that's where I was like, "Yo, this is crazy." Keep driving down the 101, the whole 101, you can see it. I drove all the way here to check it out. But Ventura and Balboa, you couldn't go up. You couldn't go up on most streets until you got to like passing White Oak. And then once I got to the neighborhood right here, I tried to go up as much as I could. And that's when I got, at some point, you could see like the top. There was one spot on the top where it looked like it got in there. And I was like, man, I hope it doesn't get like crossover like that. Luckily, there was no wind that day. I feel like if there would have been wind that day, man. So, you know, there's all these things.
But even the days that there were winds, they were saying that the reason it didn't cross over to this side is because the wind was going towards the ocean.
Yeah, that's why all the homes around the ocean side got taken
Destroyed,
out.
yeah.
It trips me out, man, because I just went there like a couple weeks ago. Byron was in Salvia. I had just told him like I'm about to just go drive out there. I was gonna go to the View just up here on Mulholland Drive, and then I was like, nah, let's go. I'm gonna go out there.
Thanks for the invite.
So I just drove. I needed a solo, man. I'm be honest with you. I went pretty far down in PCH. Like I went like
Bunny album.
after it wasn't even out yet. It came out on Sunday.
Don't lie.
It did come out on Sunday.
I went all the way. I think I passed Matador
last
Beach.
Sunday.
I hadn't been to Matador Beach in a while, but I was eerie. I'm not gonna lie. But I passed all that stuff. I went pretty far down that thing, and then I came back. And then when I came back, dude, I was smashing. I'm not gonna lie. And then there's this truck that like caught up to me, and he got behind me, and all he did was flash his headlights, and something told me slow down. So I just slowed down. And when we got to a red light, it was a park ranger. So it's like those fools can technically pull you over and whatnot. So he just got next to me. And then like the rest of the way, he was just kind of coasting next to me. And then there was this other car that I don't think he realized what it was. So that fool took off and he went after that. And I'm like, damn. Then I just recently heard how like PCH is about to have all these cameras.
You know what's funny is that I sent him that post that he's talking about.
But that was after.
And then he was like, I don't smash it on the PCH like you do, man.
Yeah, he did say that.
Remember he said that on the group chat? Because I was like,
and now you're admitting it.
And now he's admitting it.
You
that he does smash it.
Smasher lot.
I was smashing, like my smashing was like
You're the
60 miles an hour.
smashiest guy I know.
When
60.
Yeah, because I think if I would have been going anything higher than that, I think the dude would have pulled me over for sure, bro. If I would have been going anything higher than that, he would have lit me up, like without a doubt.
Well, you're lucky you're not on electric because you won't even feel when you're at 80. So
yeah, that's true.
Bro, you don't feel when you're at 80 once you're going already, bro, and you're just driving and you're just listening to music. You don't have to have an electric car. Maybe on the takeoff, yeah, but like once you're driving,
Nah,
on the
but
highway,
electric is
Every
different,
time you're
bro.
in my car, you get nauseous though.
Bro, I get nauseous anytime I'm in your car because you drive like freaking
Pedal to the metal, you know.
pedal to the
I'm
middle on both
smashes. I'm the
aspects. On both
smashes.
aspects, brakes hard. This is all. I'm like, damn, bro,
Not
like
even that
moving and
brake
shit. And
hard,
I'm
bro.
like,
he just
God.
like
He said his neck is jolting, bro.
Whipping,
He's
bro.
got back whiplash because
I
of
be
you,
whipping,
bro.
and that boy don't know how to whip his car. So
It's always been. I would say that it started like that once you got the first your
Benz?
first big car. Not even the Benz. The first when you were driving the Highlander, I believe. When you got the first like big car.
I can
You
understand.
gotta whip
bro.
these cars, bro. Whoop, whoop. You gotta.
But it's
you gotta
one thing
bend the
when it's
curve.
by yourself and you're controlling it and you're anticipating the moves. It's another thing when you're in the passenger and it's just like, oh, like
I understand you because I remember the U-Haul. I think
Yeah.
I understand you.
So-
I think I know what you're referring
Oh yeah, I
to.
was there too, man.
No,
I was
you weren't,
smashing in the
bro.
freeway with the U-Haul
in
truck.
the U-Haul. So there's two witnesses against you, bro. And then he seen me drive a big ass car too. But the crazy thing about this is just our government officials, man, and
Stop hating on my
how
driving skills.
He gonna bend. What is it called? He say he's gonna bend swerve that shit. That's crazy. You know, but yeah, seeing our government officials, for example, Karen Bass in Ghana can't even answer a damn question. Like they la cortaron la lengua a la pobre cerota.
Damn, le dijo una jerota a la
You know what I'm
señora,
saying?
le
But,
puso,
like-
no, hombre, vos.
So like,
Que
and
insulto.
then she plays the race card. And she's like, oh, they don't. She was saying that, oh, because I'm black, I'm a black woman. This is,
Yep.
I
She
mean, that's
did
what I
pull that
heard at
card.
least. I don't know
She
if this
did
is
pull
true.
that card. Yeah.
I don't know if this is true, but I'm just saying, like, yo, this is
think-
too much, man. To see like the mayor and even did you see? I think you guys saw that we sent clips of each other about the Gavin Newsom interview,
Yeah.
and like, oh, I'm leading an investigation. Like all this BS to me. I mean, it's just kind of.
I don't understand why the new president
You know
wants
what I mean?
to
And then
joke around about this
And
situation.
then people are at the
Be
same.
devil's advocate real quick for a hot second. So the only thing that I feel like is fucked up about the whole situation is, yes, she was, the city was warned that this was gonna be happening, and maybe this lady banked on like, oh, we're not gonna get no fires, or it's not gonna be that bad, right? And she still dipped or whatever. But
Well, it's because we hadn't had one like that in a while.
But Manny and Mauricio and Byron, what I feel insulted as far as a citizen of Los Angeles City and Los Angeles County is that this lady was asked repeatedly about the situation as soon as she landed, and she stayed like it was like a state of frozen, but almost like she wanted to break down and cry, like because it was like. But it's almost like a strength in her that if she recognized if I break down like that, it's going to look worse. So let me just not say a word. But to me, it was like, man, like she should have said, we're working on developing stories. We're going to get the right information out to everybody.
It's crazy
Something.
though, because as a politician
then-
to her caliber, and I say this because she's been in politics for a while now. You also have, I would assume, some type of media training, some type of something where you're at least able to say the stock thing, the stock script of,
Hey, URL.
our hearts are with the
URL.
huh?
URL.
What does that mean?
So he didn't see that video
I didn't.
where she's reading off like, if
and
you
she
guys
says-
need
she
to.
says-
She busted a Joe Biden. That's some Joe Biden. Where she read the URL and then read the fucking
No.
Yeah. So, but still,
No, she didn't even give the site.
But it's like,
she's like,
bro,
you could get it from the URL. She never gave the site. She just says URL. That's it, bro.
To me, it's just like it's
it wasn't
it's
as
just
bad as Joe Biden. When
it's
Joe
just
Biden
crazy how,
was reading
like,
the prompt and the
you-
prompt
you-
said all the stuff that he shouldn't have read. But he read
to
it
me, it's like
anyway.
silence says 1,000 words, man. You
and then
can
she
say
asked,
something.
"What's a URL?" And it's like, bro.
Like Gavin Newsom to me is
Bro.
also like, I feel like that interview was him trying to like, how we like to say in
What?
Asado,
He's
tapar con un
trying-
dedo type of shit.
He's
where
trying
it's
to be
like,
president, bro. That's
That
That
I
guy's
wanna
not.
be,
That,
bro.
that guy's just like
if they
smooth.
like, I'm just honestly saying on the
Smooth
podcast,
operator.
not as a left or right or anything like that, but like if Donald Trump just got elected as a second time as president, I don't think Gavin Newsom gonna be president next or anytime soon. Especially with the example that he has set in the last how many years he's been governor, and the fact that he got reelected is wild. So another thing I wanted to point out is Rick Caruso, who was also running for LA City Mayor, right? he was being criticized because he paid private firefighters to go protect the Palisades village, basically. So all these
an hour.
So all these businesses that were within Pacific Palisades,
2 musical bands came to
and it's like
an hour for paying for it.
Are we supposed to be upset at a wealthy person that spent that money, or are we supposed to be upset at our government that took that funding away from water reservoirs, from the fire department?
I feel like we shouldn't be upset.
All that stuff.
Honestly, I want to tell you what I feel.
And the crazy thing is that 10 years ago, there was a law that was passed by the voters that said all those reservoirs are supposed to be filled up for this reason.
I sent you,
and they're not, and they should have built more actually, according to that law.
I sent the group chat a post where they were like fact checking everything that was being said.
What's crazy is who really owns the water,
right? And then I was gonna kind of say how go into that because in the thing it said
if
that
y'all saw it, I sent.
After they stopped the $17 million cut or did the $17 million cut, they halted it and then they renegotiated and supposedly got 50 million instead of 17. But this wasn't publicized. That's what the post said. And then I go in to find out what you were saying, or you said something about the family that owns the water in California owns like 150 billion gallons or million gallons in California. 140 million gallons of California that they own. How do you own that much water, first of all, bro? You feel me? And then
if you're able to store it, it's yours. That simple.
Nah, so the thing is that they changed the laws. They changed the laws because they own a lot of farmland. So before, the laws stated that if there was a drought, the water would go to the people instead of going to the farmlands first. And they changed the laws. They lobbied it to get the laws changed to where if there's a drought, basically the water then goes to the farmlands. But the problem is that it doesn't even go to the farmers that are actually in California. It goes to them because they own a lot of farmlands here. So their lands get prioritized over other farmlands. The other thing that was trippy to me was that they're also
talking about like the vineyards that Gavin Newsom owns up in the Central Valley.
The other thing that's trippy to me is that they also basically lobbied for that law that had to do with the little fish that they keep talking about.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom said we got to protect the fish.
Yeah,
so that's why they threw a lot of that water.
That family is the one that lobbied for that, though.
Yeah, and it was something that I was we had a discussion with my dad yesterday. That was something I told him. I'm like, in this country, man, like when you have that type of money, I was like, why do you think Jeff Bezos and these people exist? And they're able to grow their company to the point where there is because they have gotten the money to lobby for certain laws to allow them to do certain things. Because technically, bro, if there was a president, I forget exactly his name, but I think it was one of the Roosevelts, that he was all about breaking down monopolies and companies that did that.
Technically, Amazon shouldn't
be exactly. A lot of companies
according
right now shouldn't be like that.
According to the law, it shouldn't exist.
Yeah, so but at the same time,
because it's too much of a
if
monopoly.
you're able to lobby stuff to like make loopholes within the
existing laws, yeah,
like you're able to make it happen. So it's like basically what you're saying is like literally you could say almost, I don't want to say a shadow person, but a shadow entity within California that pulled those strings so that they can, have
we
that.
Can call it what it is. It's a shadow government.
That natural resource there, yeah, and it's just it sucks, man, and it's like
what it is. A shadow
I wonder
government.
what's gonna happen. We need to check when it's gonna be the next
swamp that needs to be drained.
The next elections here for California, as far as governor and mayor goes, because man, that's crazy. And whatnot, but it almost affected UFC 311 too, which is going to be.
So here's the other thing: Adam Carolla said that.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Don't worry about it. He just says something very interesting that I just want to bring up and just.
I need to know why he matters, so you could quote him.
Just what it matters is that he's a guy that's he does comedy that talks about political stuff, things like that. But there's an interesting thing he said. He said, okay, most of the people that were in the Palisades, not all of them, most of them were blue, right? Blue voters in that area. Now that this has happened and the government might not be able to respond in providing them the funds that they require or need, he said most of these people will either go to a different state or they might remain here and go red. Do you think that because the people that live in that location manage a lot of money and their vote matters a lot, the state might go red because of this if the response is improper?
It's tough. It's really tough to say because, this isn't the first time that something like this happens in California. This isn't the first time where we have massive fires, not just here in Southern California, but even in Northern California. Back in 2020, Sacramento burned for a while. It took a long time for that fire to get contained up in Northern California. And I don't see a big flip happening. And I think it's gonna take some time. Like, for example, we just got a district attorney that I think is Republican, right? The new DA, the one that took out.
I don't remember. On the spot right now, I don't remember.
I believe it is, but so it's gonna take minuscule and small steps like that. I feel like for it to happen. Like now, let's say.
I feel like the way it's gonna happen is if the Democrats in California keep dropping the ball consecutively. In the next 20 years, we can see this state go red. But it all depends on their leadership and what kind of pivots they make from these. If they learn from these mistakes that they're making,
I don't think so, man. I think that as far as I don't think that they're gonna learn from their mistakes. You know what I mean? I mean they've made. I feel like just too many as far as it goes when it comes to the homelessness problem. Like I was seeing a lot of videos when it compares like. How much tax do we get here compared to a state like Florida and how they don't have the same, like, as far as like they don't have as much homelessness as we do and different stuff like that. And it makes me just always think about like really like yesterday we were talking about it as well. And a lot of our taxpayer money, who knows if it was California's or whatnot, but that went to overseas, to Ukraine, to all those places that, that money could have been used right now.
But they say that another reason that a lot of homeless come here is because they get free healthcare compared to any other state.
Yeah, and that's why we get taxed so much. We get taxed so much because here we're giving away all these social programs, if you will, to damn near all types of social groups. You know what I mean, and different ones. Which is cool, which is dope. Yeah. But I think at the same time, it's bad, like bro. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying the reason why we get taxed.
Is like horrible.
I'm saying the reason why we get taxed. You know what I mean? And it's a big difference in from what we see. And then I think that's the plain truth is the reason why we do see a lot of these groups here in the California and whatnot is because of everything that gets offered here. But the taxpayer is the one who suffers in that aspect. Is what I'm trying to say. Is it a bad thing? When you come down to the numbers, yeah, it sucks because when we need something as a taxpayer, we get the short end of the stick in many cases. For example, right now, all these people that are about to lose their homes and want to rebuild, they're getting the short end of the stick if when they rebuild, they're gonna have to pay new age property taxes and not, you know what I mean, type of thing. So it's like that's where as a taxpayer you're getting screwed here in California. And it's like it sucks, man, and it's a big reason why things got to change, but it's gonna take a long thing because, for example, when we talk about homelessness here in California, it's like a whole industry that was created where so many jobs were created based off of degrees. I know how we talk about college degrees and all that stuff. College degrees were made out of homelessness and urban.
Hold up. What college degrees were made?
Certain college degrees. You can go after certain college degrees that had to do with
there's
urban.
So they
helping out urban homelessness.
All the money
so
that
created all these jobs that now you can't kill these jobs because. Not that you can, but it's like you're gonna in a sense displace or unemploy all these people that went to college, and it's crazy how they literally created a whole industry.
Created a whole industry to solving the homeless problem. That's what he's saying.
Well, what do you guys think?
So there's a bunch of employees that earn like $100K to try to solve this. And they make programs.
When a state comes out with a policy where they say we're gonna create a fund that's gonna be $3 billion to combat homelessness. That's happened.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So, but it's not it's like saying, I don't know. I can't give you an exact analogy, but
no, give me an exact analogy. But so I know exactly what you mean, brother.
It's instead of attacking
I need
the
to know
problem,
exactly what's on your mind.
Instead of attacking the problem you're just creating.
You're letting the problem linger.
Yeah, you're just giving it like
So
another.
instead of-
You're
it's like
giving
somebody
it.
that
You're giving the
that-
problem more avenues to go about, in a sense, instead of actually solving the problem.
So we're basically being Vietnamed by the homeless.
Because this is another example. I'll give you another state, but that's also blue and all this. In New York, the mayor that got indicted and whatever. This dude, he spent I don't know how much millions of dollars to research how they can solve the garbage issue in New York. So they went to like one of the best schools in New York or something like that, and got like these graduates to study and to figure out. You know what they came up with? Garbage cans.
Okay, what?
Give everybody garbage. That's what all this money researching got them. Give everybody a garbage can, so that we can solve the garbage issue in New York.
Common sense, right?
And you're spending millions of billions of dollars to I could have told you that. Like give them garbage bags while you're at it too. Like shit, you know what I mean? Like
Common sense.
it's a type of thing where it's like when you start seeing how money is spent, money is being managed. It's like, man, it's shocking.
Elon Musk and Vivek is gonna come solve those problems.
See?
Hey.
Hey.
About that
That's
quote.
Bobby.
That's a hell of a quote.
That's the crazy part too, because that's another issue that, like, if you think about it, we're expecting the federal government now at that point to come and solve a state issue,
Exactly.
where that creates a sort of a
Never mind
like.
a state issue in this sense with these fires. It's a local issue.
Here's the real question. How will all this be solved by 2026 when we have the Olympics and the World Cup?
In the summer.
Yeah, it's to me all
Valió
these,
verga.
all these
It's
things.
how it's gonna get solved.
All those-
Valió pinche motherfucking verga.
Very good. So that stuff sucks when you get into those
I mean,
big things.
the last time they had the Olympics, they cleaned up the streets of homeless people. So it's like, how are you going to solve all this issue once next
When's
year?
the last time they had the Olympics though?
I was like in the 90s.
So I would want to know how many homeless people there were in LA then compared to now, and what was the ratio also of like the actual population that was like.
You can chat GPT that. Right
Yeah, I
there.
could, but like we'll look that up in while we're talking. But what I'm saying, like those numbers compared to now, I'm pretty sure are like astronomically different. I'm pretty sure because the population has grown a lot since '94. You know,
The last time it was in the Olympics was in LA was in 84.
84. Our parents weren't even. My parents weren't here yet. I don't know about your parents yet. Were they were here already?
No.
In 84 already?
My mom was here in the 80, right? My dad was here in the 80 or something like that.
Yeah, they got here in the 80s.
Oh yeah, bro, Dad got home 79. But yeah, damn, like that's still a long ass time, like because that's older than Enzo. That's older than all of y'all, all of us, type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Que es inolvidable, bro. No se te puede olvidar.